Well, good morning to this. It's actually midday here, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I see from our list we've got people from all over the world, which is fantastic, and all across the United States down to Australia, Turkey. I see everywhere is on board. So even though we're socially distant, it is time to get together. When I take a look at what's going on in the world right now, before I get to the real presentation today, I just want to share a few things that I've noticed is happening out there in the world. Because if let me just throw the webcam on so that everybody can see. All righty, there we are. G'day everybody, and welcome. I'm working from home, as most of the world is, I suppose, or many of the world are at this point in time. So homeschooling the 5 kids is a lot of fun, and not really anyway. But you can't send them to the principal, I guess. That's the main thing. But here we are, and what an amazing amount of change is going on in the world, and the way this change is happening is phenomenal. And we as business coaches are obviously out there leading in the forefront of as much as we possibly can, and making sure that the world is getting great results as fast as we can. So kind of exciting, kind of challenging. Times when the market shifts is always the biggest challenge for a lot of people. So as the market shifts, a lot of people don't know what to do. Unlucky or lucky for me, this is my 4th recession that I've had to live through, and run businesses through. So yeah, it's an interesting time, but here we are, and the whole world is changing, and we've got to change with it. I'm looking forward to question time at the end. If you do have a question, please type it in. I know some of you sent in questions earlier, so if you sent in questions earlier, that's fantastic. My team will have them for me. If not, please type your questions in the question box, and anything I can get to. If I don't answer it during the presentation, I'll make sure I do right at the end. Let me just do something here. Let me jump out of the webcam just for a second. And the presentation, before I get to this presentation, I just want to take you through one of the other presentations that I was doing. So when, actually, I'll pull this up in a group screen. So when I was, this thing first started 5 weeks ago, about 5 weeks ago when this thing first started, it was, this was the first webinar I presented. And what we take a look at here, or the goal of this, is to sit down and start educating. So I took our customers through how to communicate in this crisis, make sure that they're looking at this as a positive, understanding the cycle of the way that the market is going to go in a downfall, and then winter's going to come, and then we're back into spring, and how this is going to be so much shorter than 2008, and shorter than the internet bubble, and shorter than the 93. We've seen all of the different bubbles that we've had and gone down. This one, the cycle had to get to a point where we were on such a massive, from 2012 to 2020, we're on such a massive boom that the cycle had to end, and no one knew what was going to end. And the only thing anyone predicted could end is maybe a change in leadership in the United States, and no one knew that it would come from a virus, which is, it's in and of itself is awful. I'm not going to pretend to understand the virus or that sort of thing. What I do, though, is understand the business side of it. So in most economic downturns, people are in panic mode because they're debating. So they debate for 6 to 12 months. Is it a downturn or not? Is it still going to go? Is it okay? And in this one, we all knew straight away, yes, this is where it's going to go. So 5 weeks ago, I took people through this presentation, understanding change, where they need to cut back, how to extend their credit. And that was 5 weeks ago. I asked people to do that. How to work with your staff, what needs to happen there, how to go virtual and that sort of thing, how to go online with everything, because we could see this coming from other markets like Italy and Spain and that sort of stuff. And so it really took them through that. And we gave this presentation to all of our coaches. Now, the other one, if I just take a look, so then 2 weeks after that, I sat down and presented this one. And this one was really more about, okay, we're 2 weeks into this. What we didn't know back then, we know a lot more of right now. And so it was really about saying, okay, what are the things that need to happen today as opposed to back then. And it was where we knew virtual where we were at. We now need to look at the government programs, because pretty much everywhere in the world at that time was offering some sort of a government program. Unfortunately, some countries like Turkey and Portugal got, they're taking a different approach. But then I had to teach people how to shift their marketing and shift their sales, and go to how they needed to go back to their existing customers and make sure they're on the phone with every existing customer, how to get the management level for their people in a virtual environment, and all of that. And again, this webinar was given to every coach around the world to present as well. And so what we're doing and seeing now, we're doing, we just gave them 2 more. Where's the other one I'm looking for? I am looking for, I think this one. Nope, that's not it. I'll come back to that stuff. But I'm doing one on, we did one on virtual leadership that one of our coaches put together. So how to manage and do virtual. So every coach in the world got to present that. We're just doing one on marketing, how to pivot your marketing to virtual and viral, and giving that, and I'll teach it, and then I'll give it to every coach in the world to teach with their local and that sort of group. Now, the reason I bring all this stuff up is because in different environments, different things happen. And so there is opportunity that comes up in an environment that is totally different to at other times. So in looking at the Action Coach business model and sitting down and understanding what business coaching is all about in this time, one of the things that we have to understand, and I've got the 9 things to go through today, one of the things that we have to understand is that in every different economic climate, different businesses are going to do well or do badly. Right now, if we sit down and take a look at our business right now, the demand for our business is going up. Now, people don't understand why that is in many cases unless they're part of it. But here's the simple thing. People that a month ago, 2 months ago, thought they were okay are now in times of, heck, I don't know what to do. And when they see a coach out there presenting and teaching and being certain and knowing what to do, they gravitate to those people. They gravitate to the leaders. They gravitate to the people who are teaching them what to do and how to do it. They gravitate to all of the best people. And that's what's happening right now. And as a leader of the business community out there, by doing this, and obviously virtual and viral is the way to go right now, but by getting out there, and our chambers of commerce are now partnering with us in a way they would never have partnered with us before. They're opening doors for us because we have the knowledge base to be able to help people out there in the marketplace. And, very, very simply put, I see this as such a change in attitude of people, where if I go back historically, when I first started business coaching almost 27 years ago now, people would say to me, well, what's business coaching? Is that like consulting? And it was like, yeah, it's like consulting, but instead of doing the work for you, we talk every week and I coach you through and teach you and educate you and mentor you in how to do it. And then it went to a phase of, oh, that person's failing, they should get a coach. And now, and I see this happening. I was just on the phone or on Zoom this morning with another great coach of coaches across the other side of the planet, and we were having the conversation about how the market shifted to now, oh, you're doing good, you should get a coach so you can do great. But what's happened in this economic shift is that all of the people who thought they knew what they were doing, because you all know a rising tide floats all boats, all the people that thought they knew what they were doing are coming to us. Now, the second part to that, if I go to the next one, the second part to that is that in a recession, and what we're seeing in our numbers is this: about a third of businesses get killed off in recessions, okay, or struggle very much, or just shut down, okay? Now, when we see that, and some markets are different, like if we go back to 2008, we saw Portugal and Ireland had more businesses go down than about a third. But here's the thing, the other 2/3 of them, and you got to remember, a business coach, an action coach in their marketplace doesn't need to work with 100% of businesses. They need to work with approximately 0.1 of 1% to have a good, strong business. They need to get up to 1 or 2% to have an amazingly massive business in their marketplace. If you've got 10 to 15,000 businesses in your marketplace, in your immediate area, in your firm territory, and you sit down and you take a look at it and say, okay, before there were X thousand businesses in my marketplace, 18,000, 15,000, whatever it is. Let's imagine that you're in the worst hit areas and about a third of them disappear in the next 2 years. Now, I don't believe it's going to be that. And I'll get to the reasons why I don't believe it's going to be that in just a moment. But there's still 2/3 of them that need a coach. Now, what we're seeing in our numbers is that approximately 50% of businesses right now are in the middle section. 25% are in the just closed, like their business is just shut. They're a beautician or a hairdresser, or fully non-essential, fully shut type thing. About 50% of businesses have gone virtual and are doing deliveries and online, or they've pivoted, is what we're teaching them to do. They've pivoted their business and they're still in business and they're still doing stuff. They're paying the bills. And then about 25 to 30%, depending upon the marketplace, are right now in serious boom times. About a third of the business market out there, things like, so for instance, I was chatting with one of our clients yesterday, and they're in the model train business. They are in boom. They cannot keep up with orders for things for people to do at home. One of our clients yesterday that pivoted, they manufacture in steel. And what they normally do is build mezzanine levels into buildings and stuff. And big work. They've pivoted. They're now making barbells, dumbbells, gym equipment. I mean, you wouldn't have thought of that, but now they got that business. They're selling them online. They can't keep up. And so, you've got the pivot strategy in the middle. In this case, I don't believe we're going to lose a third of businesses for one simple reason. Like for me, I have 9 different companies. One of my companies is a restaurant in the WIN casino. And yesterday I was with my partner in the business. We literally had to furlough everyone on day one. We're still paying their healthcare benefits and stuff, but the government is literally giving us 2.5 months pay for them. So we'll be able to keep them on. And if we're shut for 2.5 months, we can pay our staff and not have any extra bills type thing. So it's one of these things. It's like, we will survive and not die off from that. The pivot ones will survive, and some of them will actually pivot to be making the same amount of money and get government handouts, so they will be in a better position from that. Others will get the government handouts to keep them at where they used to be and have pivoted and have added other income streams. And then that top 25 or 30%, well, fortunately for them, the government hasn't means tested the PPP loan, so they'll be getting that as well. And so I see it as a different type of thing in this one. That's a different recession. But remember this, 2/3 of businesses are either in survival mode, meaning they really need a coach, or they're in boom and they're like, how do I hire? How do I lead? How do I manage in a virtual world? What have I got to do for all of this sort of stuff? So they need a coach for the opposite reason, not to survive, but because they're in boom mode. One of our clients the other day I was chatting with, they're in the commercial cleaning, and they've been cleaning up asbestos and all sorts of real deadly stuff. And now they've spun and they're doing that. They're doing as much money from that. And he said to me the other day, Ray is his name, he said, Brad, we are going to come out of this with a whole new business and still have the whole other business to go back to and do once the market reopens. So quite phenomenal in that way. Point number 3. Okay, let's move through. Point number 3, the vision of our company. Let me just see if I can share the video. Jared, do you know if I can share and go to a video? I'm learning all these things with all y'all, I guess, is probably the simplest of things. Let me just see if I can find a way to pull up the video.
I can send you the link really quick.
I got it right here. I'm just wondering if I can play the sound, or if I need to have the sound double loop, and that will give feedback. Let me give it a try. Tell me, Jared, if the sound comes through.
Sure. No, it doesn't look like there's any sound. Doesn't sound like there's any sound.
Not getting sound? Okay. Jared, maybe if you can put the link in the chat room so everyone can go and see that video after they finish here about our vision and about what it is we are as a company saying out there in the marketplace and the mission. See, when I started this company, the vision of world abundance through business re-education, A lot of people looked at me and thought, what does that really mean? And so it's right now is what it means. Right now is where we are leading the marketplace, where we want leaders to help us lead, because the free education, like for instance, I gave away, where is that one? I gave away our, here it is. No, that's the marketing. Oh, that's the marketing webinar I was going to show you earlier on. That is the other, that's YouTube. Take a look at this, gang. This one here, I put it up 4 weeks ago, 13,000 views on YouTube of our crisis averted webinar. That's how much marketing is being done right now out there in the marketplace. Everything we're doing, like this one here, this one on my Facebook page, 138 shares. So, and 23,000 people reached. So we're getting there. Where's the, this one? So we literally built, and this is how we teach and how we lead the marketplace. I literally recorded and built, and I couldn't go into my TV studio, so I recorded it literally right here where I'm sitting right now, a free 10-day training. Jared, can we also put that link in for people, and the marketing webinar too? Put that link in there for people as well, if you could be so kind.
Absolutely.
So our vision of us as a company is really about what's happening right now. And if you believe the way we believe, that being a great educator and leading business community is part of who you are, there is no time like right now to really step up and be that person and be the leader for that thing. Number 4, long-term, this profession. Right now, of course, we're getting that boost of people wanting to be in with us. And yes, by the way, I want to address something. Yes, about 20 to 30% of our clients are downgrading. We're not letting them go. We're putting them into group programs. We're putting them into, even some of them going into group programs and not paying us right now. I was chatting with one of our coaches the other day, and they said to 2 of their clients that came to them and said, listen, we don't think we can pay you right now. And they said, listen, that's fine. We will coach you through this whole thing. And in the end of it, we'll worry about the money and we'll get you through it. And both of the clients they said that to called them back and literally said, listen, we're going to send you half the money. We can't just not pay you. We thank you so much for standing by us. We're going to give you half of the money. So are we seeing some clients downgrade though to those low end programs? Absolutely. But we're not letting them go. We are seeing that 20, 25%, 30% in some areas. Now, that also comes down to you've got to be the leader and you've got to stay with your clients and you've got to push them and you've got to do that stuff. If that's not you, then this is not for you. You've got to be willing to hold people's hand and push them and cajole them and hold them accountable. In some cases, and I'll put my webcam back on for this, in some cases, you got to be willing to almost, wake them up, shake them and go, listen, stop. You cannot not be the leader right now, because our clients have to lead their people. And I was teaching them the other day that a leader today is to be seen. A leader today has to be out there. You got to either be on video or on something to get out there and do that stuff. But this profession long-term has been growing at a massively high rate of knots. And yes, we're getting that boom kick right now, that kick in, the reason to, one of the big reasons to start right now. But I believe that the acceleration process of the profession will come through this crisis. The profession will become far more out there because of this crisis. We'll be in front of far more people because of this crisis. There's people looking for help. And obviously through video and virtual and webinars and Zoom calls, we can do that stuff and be out there in the marketplace with people and be doing it. Oh, please feel free to type in your questions, gang. That's most definitely, keep doing that. I'll get to questions towards the end of this. I'm hoping to do about a half an hour presentation and then as much question and answer as we need today. Number 5, our business is virtual. We've always been able to operate as a home-based business. We've always done that. Our firms obviously operate from an office scenario, and our firms are doing that. But they're now in a virtual environment. So everyone's working from home. There is no virtual barrier for us. And obviously technology has become better and better. Our online learning platform, our coaching platform that we use is We didn't build it because we knew there was any virtual need, but it's such perfect timing that we have an online platform. All coaching goes through the online platform. Everything is done there. All of the feedback, all of the information, it's all stored in one place. They can do it on their phone, they can do it on their computer, they can do it on their pad. All of their coaching runs through that. So it's perfect that we had that built. You know, we didn't build it for this, but we kind of had it. It's kind of perfect for this. The other thing is, in a startup time frame, there's a lot of businesses right now that are going to be at least 3, 6, 12 months for startup because they don't know when they can get through things. If you got to build a building and lease and fit out and do all of those things, our business has no barrier to startup. It's straight now. You can jump in, dive in the deep end. Our training is fully virtual. All of our pre-training was fully virtual. All of our post-training was fully virtual. Now our 10-day program, 5, 7, or 10-day, depending upon what level someone's joining us at, that program is now fully virtual as well, with the opportunity to come to a live one at some stage in the future, should you choose to do that. Where we've already run the virtual training twice, once in Mexico, once in the UK, and we're getting great feedback. Zoom is obviously fantastic. We're using that as a platform, and everyone's going through their training in that way. So our virtualness as a business, we've always wanted to be virtual, always have been, but now it's sped it up out there in the market. And it's also given us another reason to be able to help business owners out there in the market to teach them how to be virtual in their leadership and their management. Reason number 6, support. The level of support that we give our coaches and our franchise partners on a regular basis is massive. What's happened though in this time is it's had to step up. My team have said it, that they've never seen me more excited. It sounds weird to see someone excited by an economic crisis, but if you understand my passion for our vision, you understand why right now we need more leaders to come join us. We need people that really want to step in and lead their business community. That's what we're looking for right now, and the community is looking for it. Your business community is, to say they are soaking up every piece of knowledge there is would be an understatement. It's just the way the market is working is totally different. And so I'm really, really passionate right now about making sure we lead every day. Every day, a new meme that we put out, you saw that one there before about, don't hate on business owners, that they're just trying to keep the lights on. These sorts of things are every day keeping us out there in the marketplace, and every day giving our coaches something to be there. And, those coaches who are embracing it and being socially distanced, but virtually right in your face, and virtually there every day, and virtually there on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and their blog posts off their website. And if we're doing all of that, our newsletter is getting more views now than ever, because obviously people are at home, they're getting it, they're reading because the information is vital for them right now. And I'm loving the way that is being out there in the marketplace. Daily huddles with our coaches, the what's working, what's not sessions, all of these training programs that we're helping, and everything that we're helping every coach do with their client base and their community. So it's both keeping customers and gaining new customers. Number 7, I'm kind of biased. I'm a business guy, and I'm always looking to build a business that ultimately, there's something to be said about building an asset that keeps adding value for the long term. When you add value the way we do, when you are out there adding value to the society and being a community partner and helping build that asset, the business that you're building is more than just a financial asset. It is a human asset. It's an asset for your life, I guess, is probably the simplest way to put it. And when you look at our business model and you understand the way that you build that asset, and ultimately can build a firm of coaches that run the business with or without you, then you truly understand why what we're doing in this moment is so valuable for the community, but also so valuable for our owners and our partners in their firms around the world. And I think that's super exciting, even though the challenge is great. The challenge, and I got to tell you, the challenge to step up right now is bigger than it's ever been since 2008, 2010. That period where, you know, unfortunately it took people a while to realize, and the downturn in the economic winter was so long there. Here, I believe the downturn in economic winter is going to be much shorter. Several reasons. That economic assistance from governments is one of the main reasons I see that. But also with elections coming up and things like that, people are going to want this market moving. And especially here in the United States, that's going to be the case. You're going to want the market moving by November. So lots of different things happening out there in the marketplace to be looking forward to. Number 8, being your own boss. Listen, if there's one thing that a recession breeds, it's panic and worry amongst people that have jobs. If there's one thing that I see happen in a recession, it's people realize how clearly they really just want to be their own boss. And there's no better time than to do that. I started Actioncoach in 1993 in the middle of a recession. I was chatting with 2 of our coaches the other day who started this thing back the day they joined Actioncoach. You know, the market took plunges, everything went down, and they said it was the best thing ever, because what happened was they ran it through the recession as if that was good times. And then when the good times hit, they're like, holy heck, look at this stuff. This is amazing what we're doing now. You know, I see that real leaders step up during crisis time. And, you know, we personally don't know how long this thing is going to last. I've told all of my teams in all the companies to plan for 90 days. That was 5 weeks ago. I started teaching them, plan for 90 days on this thing of survive, and then we got to be plan and thrive. And I'm teaching all of our clients and all of the coaches right now to be coming back and putting a plan in place for next quarter, and start looking at next quarter as coming out of this quarter. So what are you going to do in June, July, August, September? How are you going to come through this thing stronger than you were when you went into it? And that's a really important part of what everyone can be thinking about. And finally, point number 9. You know, if you're going to become a business coach, you want to be a part of this team. The level of support my team is giving each other right now is phenomenal. The level of action that each coach is taking, the level of sharing, the level of help and assistance, the level of, there's no better time to be on this team than there is right now. This team is on fire and literally going for it at the rapid rate of knots. We are, you know, when times of crisis need leaders, we see who steps up. And I am so proud of what my team is doing right now. I'm so proud of the way they are taking charge in the marketplace. I hope you get to know some of these teams and you get to see some of them and get to see what they're doing out there in the marketplace right now. They are some of the most passionate, powerful leaders in the market right now. And I see them on webinars, and I see them on live videos, and I see them coaching, and just, I don't know how to describe it, team, other than proud. I'm just really proud of what this team is doing to live the vision and to help every single business owner out there. To see every single one of them, when I said, listen, gang, we're going to allocate 5 hours a week. Every coach is going to allocate 5 hours a week of pro bono time to help a business owner that needs it right now. That, to me, was one of the things that every single one of them said, yes, yes, Brad, we want to do that. Yes, Brad, that's part of who we are as a company. So finally, if I go across to the 90-day plans, that's been a big pivot for my team, getting all of their clients on 90-day survival plans. Now they're getting them all on 90-day thrive plans, and we're getting new clients through that. So there's that. Pete, there's someone here who said I can play a video with sound. If you could just type the instructions, that would be great for me, Peter. Or Jared, if you could go offline and search somewhere and then come back and maybe you can play it, or you can tell me how to play it. So let's get the question.